Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to discuss the benefits and the things you want to look out for when you are traveling alone to Disney. My experience was in Disneyland Paris, so that's what I am reflecting on, so it could be a little bit different for Walt Disney World or Disneyland in California, but these are just my experiences and things I found that I felt like I needed to share. So let's get into it.
1, 2, 3, funky.
Okay, so we're going to start with the traveling part. Obviously, traveling alone is a little bit scarier because you only have your own eyes and you have to watch your luggage the entire time. For example, I was traveling in a train and I left at 7 a.m. so it was quite early and I felt like I could take a nap, but because I wanted to watch my luggage, because obviously there are thieves on trains, not so much on airplanes, but you just want to watch your luggage. I didn't nap. There was the one part on the trip that I felt safe enough to nap. That was the train between Brussels and Disneyland Paris. That's a train where you have to pay for your ticket and like a seat is selected for you, so the chances of people in there robbing your things are a little bit less likely. At least that's how I felt it would be. So I did nap in there. But you have to watch your bag the entire time if you want to be 100% sure that everything's going to be okay with your bag. This is just a precaution from my side of things that I would like to take, so maybe you would like to take as well. The second thing that I really prepared in, and I'm glad I did, is you need to entertain yourself. You can't really talk to the person next to you. I mean, you can if you have someone next to you. I didn't. You can talk with a stranger, but what I did is I downloaded a bunch of podcasts. I downloaded a lot of games on my phone, and I downloaded a book. So that's something you could do. It just depends on what you like to do and what passes the time for you. For me, the podcast really helped, but that's really personal. If you want a recommendation for a podcast, I listened to the podcast from Loey Lane and Snitchery. I'm not really sure what it's called, I'll put it in here, but it's about true crime, mystery, stuff like that, so that was really fun. I also downloaded some games, but that was the one that really got me through the entire journey. The third thing that I want to do while traveling by train is I want to know when do I need to leave, at what time do I need to be there. So what I did is I really planned things ahead, so I knew, okay, I'm like starting at this platform and I'm getting off at, let's say, 2, I need to get to 4. Okay, so that's 2 platforms, probably easy walk. And I also made sure that I have enough time between my transits, because the one in Brussels was really really bad. I had to walk like, well, I walked like 10 minutes because I couldn't find it, but it's like quite a little walk, so I needed to make sure that I had some time to transfer between the trains and also grab something to eat. So what I did is I just prepared a lot. I made sure that I had a mental list. Okay, I need to go here, then here, grab food there, and then go here. And that's how I made sure that I didn't miss any trains. Well, obviously you can miss a train if something happens, but I made sure that there's nothing that's gonna happen because of me. And the last thing I did is I made sure that I packed some snacks. I am definitely going to pack a little bit more next time, because what I noticed when I went on the train to Disneyland Paris, I was so nervous about traveling alone and going to Disneyland Paris for the first time that I really forgot to eat. I got a cinnamon bun at like 7 or 8 a.m. and I ate that, and I had like a little yogurt, and that's all I ate. So when I traveled for 7-8 hours on a train and only ate those 2 things, I got off and I was really nauseous. So that's a tip for myself, and maybe you want to take it as well if you're traveling. Make sure that you have your snacks, have some nutrition, because if you go somewhere and you upset your stomach, like the first day, well, few hours in Disneyland Paris were so bad for me because I was nauseous. I was so nauseous, and I thought, okay, I didn't eat much, maybe it's time for me to eat. So I bought some fries and chicken nuggets, hoping that would fix it. but it was already too late. I was already nauseous, so I couldn't really finish anything. I ate like 2 nuggets from the 9Ps and I ate like 10 fries. So that was a waste of money. So you want to make sure that you have some food, that you are eating the food, that you are drinking water, and make sure that you are prepared. Okay, so when you are done with the train, car, plane, however you're going to be at Disney. And at Disney, I noticed a few things that I really needed help with, that I was like, okay, next time I'm gonna prepare better, or I'm gonna prepare better right now and I'll be ready for the next one. So the first thing that I really underestimated, or actually I totally forgot about it, is line entertainment. So when you are waiting in line, this could have taken probably an hour at some, like I waited at a Marvel meet and greet for like an hour. And when you're alone, again, just like the train or however you're going, you don't really have someone to talk to, someone to keep you entertained. So you're really like, you need to do it. You need to entertain yourself. So what I did is I downloaded a Candy Crush, and for some reason that really helped me. I was just in the line doing my Candy Crush, and I downloaded some other games because Candy Crush, it works on lives, and when you run out of lives you need to wait 20 minutes for one live, and it's just hell. But I noticed that I needed games to get myself through the line, especially when it was a long line. So you need to have line entertainment, and whatever you want. You can bring a book, but I don't think a book is smart if you need to like constantly move forward. So just look at what you like to do in the line. Maybe when you're preparing for your travel alone, like in a train, and you're downloading apps, maybe you can think, okay, this would be fun in lines to do, this wouldn't be, and that way the lines go way faster. Okay, so the second thing at Disney, something you need to prepare for, and this is just mentally prepare. I don't think you can prepare yourself otherwise. When you are going to a restaurant or getting some takeaway from the quick service restaurants, eating is going to be a little bit lonely, because normally when you're eating you're going to be talking to someone and, you know, maybe discussing what you just saw, but I didn't have that, and you're not going to have that when you're going solo. So what I did is I made sure that I used that time to catch up on my Instagram, post a few things, vlog a little bit. It's just important that you realize, okay, it's gonna be a bit lonely, it's gonna feel lonely. That's especially something you have to prepare for, is when you see big groups of friends having fun, sometimes it can hit you and be like, oh, okay, you know, I'm here alone. But if you like being alone, it's gonna be totally fine. But sometimes it really hits you mentally. You're like, oh, I'm alone. Oh god, I need to entertain myself, you know, especially at the dinners. That's where I really felt it. When I was seated at Annette's, I felt pretty lonely. When I was seated at the, I think it's called the Lucky Nugget Saloon, I was feeling a little bit lonely too, so that's something you need to mentally prepare yourself for. When you're alone, it's easy to forget about yourself. It sounds funny, but when you are with someone, the person will likely tell you, hey, I'm feeling a little bit thirsty, let's go get a drink. Or, hey, my feet hurt a little bit, can we go on the ride that, you know, where we can just sit for a little bit. And when you are alone, you have a drive where you're like, okay, I can do this, and I can do that, and I can do this after that. That is fine. But I noticed that I really needed to listen to my body, like when my feet were hurting, okay, do something that gives you time to relax. Maybe go sit on a bench for a little bit. So what I'm giving to you is a little tip. Just listen to your body. If your body tells you, hey, you're getting tired, get some food, get a drink, get that drink. Because there's no one who's gonna force you to drink. And the last thing you want to do is be dehydrated or be in so much pain that you can't walk anymore when you're at Disney. So make sure that you listen to your body. The fourth thing at Disney, something that I really struggled with, is at Disneyland Paris, the parks close at 8. And in vacation times and summer, it closes at 9. That's a bit better. But after 8, if you hang around the parks, you can maybe make it till 9. I don't know when they start sending people out of the park. But you probably will get to your hotel and have some time, because no one's going to go to bed at 9 p.m. So you need to make sure that you have something to do in your hotel room. There is a TV in some. I don't know where you're going to be staying, but most of the Disney property, if not all, have TVs in the room. But if you want to watch something, most of it is going to be either like Disney Channel or foreign. Like in Disneyland Paris, it's all going to be French, and there was nothing Dutch, I think. I don't even remember. But I, looked through it and I was like, okay, this is nothing for me. So what I did is I made sure that I have Netflix downloaded and I could just watch Netflix on my phone. It isn't as comfortable as watching it on TV, but at least it's a little bit better. But I definitely need a little bit of entertainment in my room because, when I got there it was probably like 9 p.m. and I only stayed up until like 11, 12, so that's quite a few hours that you have to entertain yourself. So the big theme of this video is make sure you know how to entertain yourself. And the last thing that I want to give you is when you are alone, it might be a little bit difficult to create some memories or pictures. You do have the PhotoPass people, but obviously they're not going to be in front of the castle, they're just going to be in the meet and greets. So if you want to have a castle picture, you're either going to have to take it by yourself or you're going to have to ask someone. I don't have the balls to ask someone, so I came up with a way to just take my own pictures. All you're going to need is your phone and a bag, preferably something sturdy. I took this bag with me to the parks, and it's definitely going to be helpful if you have an Apple Watch and an iPhone. But what you can also use is a phone app called Lens Buddy, which is pretty good. I haven't used it in Disney, but it's nice. So what I did is I found a bin near the area that I want to take a picture in, and I put my bag on top of the bin. You have to have a little bit of room, and like people who need to throw their trash away, you don't want to get them in your bin the entire time. But you can just place your bag on the bin, place your phone on the bin like against the bag like that, and then if you have Lens Buddy or your Apple Watch, you can just press your Apple Watch. I don't have it on right now, but you can press your camera app, take a self timer picture, and you can just stand there and take the pictures. And it's a better way to take pictures than selfies because I honestly don't really like selfies that much. But what I also did is I took a tiny tripod. It was probably about this big, and I could fold it out into like, I don't know, like a meter or something. But I noticed I didn't love the angles of it, so I took some pictures with my tripod, but I also took some pictures with the phone binway. And honestly, people are going to stare at you when you use a tripod, so the phone binway is a little bit easier if you don't like people staring at you, because I have some pictures where you can actually see people looking at me like, what the hell is she doing? So that's just up to you if you want to get some pictures. These are my 2 ways that I use to get them. I honestly don't have a lot of them, but I am glad that I took a few because some of them are just very cute, and honestly it's a way to capture the memories. I know that I also vlogged, so I also have those memories, but pictures are always so nice. And then the last part of the video, I am going to tell you about what I feel like I benefited from the solo travel. I would do it again, but I wouldn't mind going with someone, just to have some company. The first thing that is obvious is you can do whatever you want. If you have someone who isn't a big fan of big roller coasters, you're obviously going to stay away from the roller coasters even if you want to do them, because that person will have to wait while you go in the line and then go in the roller coasters, so you feel a little bit like, oh, I can't go there because I don't want to make them wait. So that's great because you can just look at the attraction list and be like, okay, I want to do that and then that and then that. Like, I did all my attractions in like one day, and then I was like, I did them all. Let's see what I can do more. So you can just find the things you like to do, and you don't have to listen to anyone else. And the other thing is you don't feel obligated to stay. I know a lot of people don't want to leave the parks. I personally just leave. Like, if you need like a freshen up, and I forgot things at my hotel room all the time. One day I forgot my charger, one day I forgot my sunnies and it was blinding sun. So what I like to do is in the middle of the day around 1 or 2 p.m. and I got to the parks at like 9 a.m. when they opened. I went to the hotel room for like 20 minutes, sometimes an hour, just to freshen up my makeup, cool down a little bit, and then I went to the parks again. And it's a really nice moment just to freshen up, feel more fresh. And there are people, as I said, who don't like to do that, and I would feel obligated to stay in the parks because of them. But because I was alone, I didn't feel like I was a bad person for leaving the parks. I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna freshen up and I'll be back. Because you don't want to stay in the park the entire time and be sweaty and tired and everything hurts you. Could take your rest moment too. And the last thing that I noticed that was pretty great, it was pretty easy at seated. It was pretty busy in most of the restaurants that I ate at. It was easy for probably 2 people to get seated as well, but I really noticed that when you're solo, it's pretty easy to get seated. I got seated right away at most of them. The only place I had to wait in line was Rainforest Cafe, but that was also because I stayed in the park until closing and then everyone wanted to eat. So that's why I couldn't get seated right away, and I also didn't want to wait in line because my feet hurt so bad. So that's a tip. If you want to eat after 9 p.m, make sure that you are ready to wait because you're gonna wait. But I really noticed that it really helps if you're alone or with 2 people. You know, this also applies if you have a smaller group, so I would say up to 2 people. You get seated way faster, service is really good, and the cast members just really talk to you a little bit more. You have like a more magical experience with the cast members. I have to say, the cast members don't talk to you as much as they do in America. I've only been in Walt Disney World once and to a resort once, but I did notice that it's a little bit less in Paris, and you know, that's the people there, you can't blame them, you know, it's a different culture. But it definitely would help if you are traveling alone, if you had some cast members, you know, just having some fun because it lightens up your mood, and it definitely did for me. And those were all my tips and tricks and things I noticed from being alone. It's a lot of information, I know, but I'm really glad I can tell you guys because it was such a fun experience, and if you wanted information on it, I hope you enjoyed. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you don't follow me on Instagram yet, you can definitely do that. I post a lot of cute Disney content there, especially about my last trip and my upcoming trip. You will see a video on that very soon. But I hope you have an amazing day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!